joining Sandra P's Gen Extra. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining Sandra P's Gen Extra. And I wanted to just come in and introduce everybody to Next Gen NYC. Okay, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to share the screen. If you come in, just click the like button. I would appreciate that. I'm going to start a banner running. Of course, these are all my own opinions. This is a new Bravo TV show, and it's also on Peacock. And what the show has done, they've taken, I'll say, second generation children, reality TV children. They're all now in their early 20s. Riley was 21 when this was shot. I think she's just had a birthday, so she's 22. We got 23-year-old Ariana. Gia Judice is around 22 or 23. There's some other New York kids. So this is going to be, it's going to be a cute show. But first impressions, I just want to give first impressions. So I'm going to give you. Okay, thank you. I'm going to actually show you, let's see. You can see their picture right there. That is the cast. And one moment, I just want to change the way this screen looks a little bit. Okay. That's not, let me go ahead and I'd rather put Riley in the cast. Riley, Ava, Gia Judice, Brooks. There was someone named Charlie. There was a young lady named Georgia. Right now, what it's looking like is that Georgia and Charlie are the native New Yorkers. I have to see. I think her name, what is Elmira? I'm not sure if she's a native New Yorker. She is a content creator. Her face was very familiar to me. And then I realized the reason was that she had a large Victoria's Secret campaign. So that is how I knew that young lady. So what I'll do, I'll just put that picture up and then talk a little bit about the show. You see Next Gen NYC. So Instagram, they have their Instagram up and going because this is a Gen Z crowd. It's everyone in their early 20s. And they're trying to introduce us to everybody. So I was kind of confused about who was who other than the standout and the people that I already know because I know of them through their parents, which would be Riley, Ava Dash, Ariana Bierman, which is Kim's daughter, Gia Judice, which is Teresa's daughter. Brooks is Meredith Marks' son from Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. And we get little hints as the show is coming on that Brooks kind of is the glue. He knows every person on the cast, and he actually seemed like he may have had a say in putting the cast together. So I find that pretty funny, and we will see. So some of the comments, Next Gen NYC is just asking, did you enjoy tonight's episode? It was okay. It was a cute little watch. I can give 40 minutes to that and then review it for a little 20, maybe. So it's okay. Somebody says, fun show. Can't wait for next week. My new comfort show. So there's a few people that like it. They had 36 likes. But again, the show just came on last night, and it's pretty new. So I'll just give first impressions. Again, it might be worth a watch. We'll see what happens. I've watched reality TV long enough now, just as a hobby, that I can see manufactured drama when they're giving it to us. I hope they don't go this route. 20-something years old in New York on a major show, because I'll say it's a major show only because of Bravo. Bravo has been able to catapult shows throughout the years. We look at what Real Housewives of Atlanta has done for that franchise. So there's no reason for them to have to manufacture any drama. No reason at all. Hey, Cece, thank you for joining. I appreciate it. I'm doing a quick review on Next Gen NYC and just giving first impressions. So right now, I said the only two that I think are native New Yorkers are Georgia and then Charlie. And they name drop a little bit. Charlie says that, he in high school, he was being picked up by Lindsay Lohan. That's one of his girlfriends. So they're trying to make him as this playboy about town type person. And I think he might have a little bit of jealousy toward Brooks. I have to see a little bit more on it because some of the things that Charlie was saying and doing, I would tell Brooks to watch a friend like Charlie, because that's not safe for you, Brooks. I think Charlie recognizes who and what someone like a Brooks could be. Brooks is a little awkward. He's a little under his mom's thumb. His sister Chloe is a beautiful girl in a traditional sense, and Brooks might feel a little overshadowed in a certain way. And he is the glue of this group. and I see that certain ones kind of pull him in and take him under their wing. Gia particularly, there's a scene that comes up where Gia is speaking for him, and Charlie points out, why are you speaking for him? Why are you being his mouthpiece? But we'll get to that. I'm not going to do like a review. I'll just give you a little background, because I know quite a few people have said they are not going to watch it. They might peep in and see what it is. So when I give my reviews, it's mainly going to be impressions, and then I'll also give just a little background to tell you what happens. When they first start out, I feel like they needed captions for each person initially, because we don't know them other than the obvious. So almost like not halfway through, pretty early on, they showed them talking, and I'm like, who is who? Other than, of course, Riley or Ava or Gia. And then they started to give captions. You would get a big Charlie, so we would know who it was. So that was good. Production needed to do that, at least for the first few episodes. So we see Georgia. Georgia thinks that she gives a lot of quotables, and I don't want her to try too hard unless that's just her personality. Yeah, see, Gia is on this show. I think they like Gia's fan base. And I know that Gia, we've watched Gia since, I won't even say, we saw Riley since maybe age 7. Gia younger than that. I remember her being supermodel. And Teresa, she was Teresa's little doll. Before Teresa had all those other girls, we were introduced to Gia. And Gia is a very strong personality because of probably who her mother is, what they went through. We know Teresa went to prison over there and was gone for a year or two from her family. And Gia is a tough cookie. Gia is very controlling. Yeah, she's the oldest daughter of a bunch of girls, and I could see her taking over that family. I'll tell you, when I stopped watching New Jersey is after they brought Melissa and Joe on, and I was aware of like behind the scenes shenanigans that Melissa kind of introduced herself to the show, like, bring me on, I'll take Teresa down. Now, I'm not going to take sides. I don't know if that was really the case, but I know Teresa strongly did not want her sister-in-law on that show. And I know Teresa and her brother were super close at the time, and they ended up being almost enemies at the time. Teresa was still married to Joe Giudice at the time before he went to prison. So New Jersey, Real Housewives of New Jersey, kind of wrecked that family, threw a monkey wrench in that family. Sharon Gobble is here. Thank you. Come in. We have TNTG Mom, CC. So some are watching, some is not. I got to watch it today. Sharon Gobble said she may watch. Did you get a chance to watch it, Sharon? I'm just giving my background and what I think the different Gen Zers. Riley seems like she's the youngest. She's 21. Brooks, I don't remember if I caught his age, but he's young too. Chloe is Brooks's sister. Brooks, I don't know if he's the younger brother or if he's an older brother to Chloe. But Ariana starts out, she says when she got out of the plane and she got on New York ground and she smelled the urine and cigarettes, she knows it's for her. So Ariana's trying to have a few little quotables too. She gets directions from a lady on the street. They talk a little bit. She tell them, yeah, she just came to New York. She's looking forward to it, this and that. Sharon Gobble said, yeah, the same of it toward the end. And Teresa confirms, isn't Teresa and her brother's relationship their fault? I think it is their fault, CC. I think a lot of it was, I won't say made for TV drama, but it was definitely ramped up based on that. And I think Teresa never got over the fact that Melissa was brought on there. Joe, of course, always, they got two Joes, Joe the brother and Joe Teresa's husband at the time. Joe was always going to take her for his wife, Melissa, because Teresa is a strong personality. I feel like she was trying to run over Melissa. So that is my view on that. Ariana is looking at places that are $6,000 a month in rent, y'all. Ariana has a small income. She doesn't say what it is, but she says, I have my online job so that I can get income. So I don't know if she's an influencer or what her job is. There's another young lady. I don't want to keep saying her name. Here it is, Amira. Amira is a content creator and a model. And I don't know if I put the picture on the side. I don't know if that is the type of income that Ariana gets as well. Now, Ariana Bierman, she introduces what I do like. All of the kids, younger people, come on and they say who they are in relation to their parents. She says, my parents are Kim Zolciak from Real Housewives of Atlanta and Croy Bierman. Now, we know that we were introduced to Ariana and her sister Brielle before Croy ever got on the show when Kim was with, thank you, Big Papa, somebody else's husband, who was, when he bought them that Escalade, okay? But Croy met Kim on the show. Sheree did a Dancing with the Stars-based charity event, and Kim met Croy. He was a half of an Atlanta Falcon for a season or two, and he's been able to eat off Kim since then. He's got about a decade on Kim. He's a little bit younger than Kim. Kim thought she had a hottie, and she can't get the man out the house. Everybody knows they're going through a contentious divorce. So Ariana alludes to that. She says she doesn't even know if she should still say Bierman. But Ariana, that's your dad. He adopted you. He took you in. Ariana was little. She's maybe about 6 because Riley was 7. So everyone's speaking to each other as they come in. Now, another thing I found interesting is that we meet a little guy called Hudson. He comes to New York with Ariana, okay? Sharon saw some of it toward the end. You might have saw the part that I'm getting ready to bring up. I'm going to jump all around because honestly, the show is not interesting enough to just hold me like that, even though I did watch all of it. I didn't watch Salt Lake City at all. I just know of Mary Crosby from Salt Lake City because she paused herself because some of them were being the R word racist toward her. And someone even threw a glass at her. So she stopped. She didn't come back to the show for a season. Now Mary's back because Mary Crosby's the personality. Meredith Marks, I don't know at all, but her son Brooks, he's here on the show, and I think he's helped assemble the cast because we see a preview where he's going to allude to that with Georgia. Georgia feels like she's the native New Yorker and she's the mover and shaker and this kind of thing. I don't like Georgia, y'all. I hate to say that already, but I don't. So Brooks introduced himself as a model, philanthropist, and an entrepreneur. I guess we'll see more of that. This is the reason why I don't want to see manufactured drama from these kids. When you're in your 20s, you can do almost anything and it's news. It's something to watch. It's funny. It's cute because you have a lot of years of your life to repair. Ariana is in the news that she had a mugshot or something like that. I think she's resolved all that. So she was drinking, but what she said, the house is not sold, Cece. They're still living in the house together, which is dangerous because we know Croy can be volatile. And that's another reason Ariana said, well, I don't even know if we should, if I should still use Bierman. And I'm saying, yeah, use Bierman. That's your father. He adopted you. And he's raised her since she was about 6 years old. She was the younger of the two. And the man, he and Kim have had 3 sons or so together. Kim's got about 5 kids now. So the one thing I found interesting, she and Ariana and her boyfriend Hudson came to New York. They're looking for an apartment. We know what the rents are, right? Ariana says that her husband's from a blessed family. Y'all, Lil Kim, I'm going to call her Little Kim right now, even though it's Ariana Bierman. Lil Kim has pulled Hudson. Hudson is the son of Zaxby's, okay? So not only is his family blessed, these people have worked and created a business. They've created a business. And what they have done in creating this business is it's a franchise as well. And the Zaxby's have never been like McDonald's cheap or anything like that. You spend a little money at Zaxby's, but the food is hot. The food is good. It's to order. Now, as far as nationwide, I don't know about that. I live in North Carolina. We have Zaxby's out and about, and it's different places. I think it's pretty regional, but there's some money there. So Lil Kim doing the thing. Cece's telling me something. I didn't know who this girl was. That must be Georgia. That's why I don't care for her. Because she's pretending that she's self-made, she's this and that. And I knew it was something to it because she does events and party planning and things like that. That's not self-made. You can't even get in that field without some type of connections because who's coming to your party? There's a scene in there where Riley says, I used to live above Katz Deli. Katz is a famous New York deli. So Georgia is saying, oh, do you know about When Harry Met Sally? I laughed at Riley. Riley said, I've never seen that show. When Harry Met Sally is the famous movie of Billy Crystal, and then the other lead is Meg Ryan. And it's famous because of a scene in the deli where the lady is pretending that she's faking orgasm. And he's like, oh, you could never fool me with that. But she was very convincing. And then there's another lady at the other table saying, I'll have what she's having. And I think they said that was the director's mother or something like that. So Mama Bees, hello, welcome in. That's one of my moderators. She came in and speaking to everyone that's in the chat. Cece said there are some in Virginia. Okay, so it's not only regional, it's in different states as well. And it's franchise. They do well, don't they, Cece? For fast food, the food is pretty good. I mean, it's hot, it's cooked to order. They're always coming up with like new stuff. So this is who Ariana Bierman showed up in New York with, y'all, talking about her budget for rent is $6,000 to $8,000. And they need a 2-bedroom. And when she said that, the realtor was like, okay, now we're looking at about $15,000. And then he started talking to them Oh, you're not saying Georgia? I was asking if she's in this age range. Oh, I don't know, because you know what? Why didn't they bring her on? Thank you for clearing that up, CC. I wasn't saying Georgia is Sonia's daughter. I was asking if she's in this group's age range. She might be a little bit older, because honestly, this Georgia, and it could be because she's a New York kid, she seems to me a little older than the kids that they've assembled for this show. And then it seemed like a lot of them met at BravoCon. So if they let Brooks put together and assemble this show, he's got a limited universe as to who he's even going to know. He would know Riley because she is a kid of Bravo. He would know Gia for the same reason. They met at BravoCon. But I don't see how he would meet a Charlie or a Georgia or a Myra or any of these other kids. So that this is kind of weird. The friendship is kind of, you know how the housewives will bring someone on and assemble them and say they're a friend. Oh, it seems to be an East Coast thing, Mama Bees. So Maryland has Zaxby's as well. I like the food. Now they're going to have little groups that kind of are close to each other and are not. Gia and Brooks are close. Brooks has a FaceTime relationship where he can talk to anybody. Charles thinks he's this little man about town or whatever. He says he's in cryptocurrency. I started out of that because, y'all, this boy's getting his haircut. He's in his early 20s. He's like 23. Even though he said, well, Lindsay Lohan used to pick me up from school. Apparently they used to date. So Lindsay is not appropriate. Okay. Lindsay got to be 40 now. Now I've known of her from a child, her movies and all of that, but she seemed to be kind of old to be dating Charlie, if that's what was going on, but he used it as a flex. He's getting his haircut and he's getting this windswept type thing that some of them like to do. And it was kind of silly, but he said, okay, what I'm going to do, I'm going to pay with my credit card and then I'll have you charge my dad's account. Production left that in. So we already got people up there faking the funk, y'all. And I knew that they were going to do that. And I knew it was going to get on my nerves. But if production's going to be calling him out, I'm here for it. So I can laugh at it. Another thing Charlie did, Brooks shows up with his sister, Chloe, who's adorable. She's 22 years old. I was alluding to the fact she's kind of traditional looking, blonde hair, light eyes, all this stuff. So Charlie, when he meets her, his eyes going out of his head. Charlie, if his dad didn't have money, Charlie would not be getting any play. He's corny to me. But he, on a New York money scale thing, I think he thinks he's doing something. So he asked Chloe out just for drinks. They go out to brunch. And Brooks is kind of uneasy about it. He doesn't want someone with Charlie's reputation dating his sister. And then Charlie makes it worse. He texts Brooke, okay, Brooks, we're going to meet out. And that's if Chloe's not already back at my apartment. So Brooks took that in an offensive way and even says, that offended me. We get to meet Riley. Riley tells us who she is, who her mother is. She's Candy Burris's daughter. Sharon saying what I think already, that Charlie is corny. You know, money can't unlame a lane, but people still think that it can. That's the words of Kendrick. You know, you thought the money, the fame would make you go away. Money can't unlame a lane. It cannot. Okay. So we got Gia and Brooks are kind of close. Brooks and Riley are able to FaceTime each other and feel comfortable talking to each other. Georgia knows Brooks. Amara knows Brooks. Brooks is the glue. So now he's got this little kind of anxiety going on between he and Charlie. And they end up meeting later. Y'all, we see Ava. We see Ava with Damon Dash. We see them riding in the car. Rocky's still riding in the back seat. Damon's wife, Rocky, who's been around at least a decade. Rocky makes me laugh. We used to see her on Growing Up Hip Hop. She's always recording. She's always trying to capture something. And she gets a lot of viral moments. She caught him and Tyler Perry. No, not Tyler Perry. Him and Lee Daniels getting into it about some money that was owed to Damon. So that's Rocky. Rocky's in the back seat. They're doing I Spy, and Ava makes a joke. I spy with my little eye something white, because the little brother's in there, Rocky and Damon's child. And Damon, you know how Damon is. He was like, oh, it can't be one of Ava's boyfriends. So they kind of laugh about that. So, and I kind of sensed that in Ava. I didn't know she exclusively dated white boys, but I was speaking about who the conflict was going to be between. And I know Gia was trying to throw out a bone to the audience that her and Riley might have some type of conflict, because she was speaking with Darlene from New Jersey, the New Jersey housewives, about, she mentioned to Riley that she thinks that New Jersey and Atlanta are kind of the same. And Riley's like, no. And as we see Riley, and we've known Riley since 7, she makes these faces. She's really low key. She's like a Mama Joyce. She's sarcastic. She's soft-spoken, but Riley can get you together. I can tell. Welcome in, Elisa Triplet. Thank you so much for coming in. I appreciate it. But I think they're going to use that in order to maybe draw a wedge between Riley and the others. And I don't think Riley her personality is different than these other kids. They're trying really hard, and Riley's just being Riley. Sonia's daughter's name is Quincy Adams Morgan. She's 25. Her father probably doesn't want her on TV. She needs to protect her inheritance. That would make sense, CC, because very little good comes of these shows. Sonia Morgan has been a disaster for years. She actually met that man, the JP Morgan heir, in a New York restaurant. She used to be one of those people that would lead you to your table. She was a hostess. And he was an older man, a man of money, and guess one of those men coming and eating alone. And Sonia was able to incorporate herself into that family. And that's been, even though he's divorced from her for decades, that's been her personality ever since. I'm Sonia Morgan. And Andy likes her a lot. There have been times when I liked Sonia over the years when I used to watch New York Housewives. She's one of the ones that I did like. I won't go off on a tangent, but I remember the Scary Island episode, and Kelly kind of went a little nuts out there, and Sonia was taking care of her. Because Bethany, I never liked Bethany Frankel. Bethany can get a few jokes off, but I never really cared for Bethany Frankel. And some of the way Bethany was treating people and the way she treated Kelly, and I don't really care for Kelly. But Sonia, I always liked Sonia after that. She wasn't a person that went along with the group. I don't know how she was after I stopped watching the show, but Sonia knows how to get it where she lives. So I'll give her that. Cece saying, this is my thoughts. Why is there a problem if Riley has a difference of opinion from Gia? They get on my nerves trying to police us and our thoughts. And that's what it was when Brooks and Riley entered a room and they were introducing, Riley kind of knew of everybody. Oh, hey. Riley's not going too crazy over anybody. Riley was raised by Candy Barris, who is a hard worker. There are people that, oh, she's boring, she's this, she's that. I've watched Candy since her first season of Real Housewives of Atlanta up to when she's left. I never found her boring. I think she started out giving up everything. She came on the show with AJ, ended up losing him that year. She shared the struggle with going through with Mama Joyce. Mama Joyce had her foot on AJ's neck. Rest in peace to him. We met her before she knew Todd. We met her with Todd. She shared her first child with Todd, Ace, little Blaze now. So we feel like we know Riley. We watch Riley grow up. Gia, same thing, but I don't know why this was an issue. I don't think Jersey and Atlanta are the same. I don't know why that would press Gia, and I don't think she wants any problems with Riley. Riley may be, I don't even know if she's a quieter personality. I won't say that. I think she's more reserved, and she's not going to just give it up to the cameras and try to be seen like a lot of these people are doing. I don't like that, okay? That I don't like. Riley has met people those other kids hope to meet. That's exactly it, CC. That's it. At least a triplet. We're on the same page. Gia better leave Riley alone. I don't know why if you're going to pick with somebody, you would start with Riley, other than Teresa might have said, okay, Riley's a big dog. Her mom's Candy Barris. If you want to be HBIC on this show, you want to go at the queen, which to me, I know who Riley is. I know who Ava is through her parents. I know who Gia is through hers, but the rest of these kids, I do not know. People watch Salt Lake City. They know Brooks, but I didn't know him. I thought he was cute. Amira is really pretty. She was, again, recognizable to me because she has a Victoria's Secret campaign, so I knew of her through that. She went to jail. I'm not sure what happened, but she was trying to use that as a flex or something cute. Their jail is different than our jail. I don't know what she's talking about. That's nothing cute. And that was another thing that Georgia did that got on my nerves. She threw some type of party. So-and-so had just got out of jail, and we had the ankle bracelet and blah, blah, blah. I'm never going to laugh with you about jail. Okay. That's not cute to me. It's not funny to me. Pardons and all that kind of stuff. We're not going to do that. Okay. No. So confessional, Charlie, I told y'all he already asked out Chloe. She agreed. They just had drinks. It was light drinks. Charlie could never pull a Chloe. I'm sorry. I don't care if he's New York and she's from Salt Lake City. Charlie could not pull Chloe if not for this show and the fact that he's showcasing that his dad has money, not him, because he's a crypto trader. This boy said, he's sitting in the chair now, he's going to use his father's bill to pay for his haircut. And he says his father gives him $10,000 a month to trade with. I'm going to leave that there. Ava is, CC, she's suspect. She's suspect. I find Rachel Roy to be slightly a grimy person. not because of the whole lemonade, Becky with the good hair thing. There are things about Rachel Roy as far as just over the years, okay? Ava, unfortunately, she's got Damon on one side, which is the hustle side, the hard worker side. The New York type, he's a hard worker. I'll give Damon that. And then she said he helped create Rockefeller. We all know that about Damon. Rachel Roy has her clothing line and all of this, but I think Rachel's one of those people that's kind of, to me, has always been a climber. She's beautiful. She's always been around the industry and different ones around the industry. So the whole thing with Jay-Z, that was what the Solange elevator thing was about. And it was evidently Jay-Z has been caught out there before, but this was the person that was in their circle. And Beyonce, Queen Bee, is not going to really say anything about it other than create through her art. But Solange is not that type. She's creative and artistic as well, but she also got hands. Okay. So Ava is a little suspect, CC. I think if Riley has a situation with Gia or with any of those kids, I don't know whose side Ava would be on. I hate to say it, but that's what I see so far. Okay. So we got Gia is driving into New York every day. She's complaining about the traffic from Jersey and all that, which is true. It's one way in, one way out. I never aspired to live in Jersey, but New York housing prices are ridiculous, even just to rent. And if they buy and they're looking at co-op buildings, this is what the realtor was telling Ariana. Ariana doesn't know. She's like, in Georgia, you can get this, you can get that, but you can't compare Georgia to New York as far as the pricing. There is no comparison. The other thing is, if they look for something called a co-op building, there's a cooperative board. You have an application that you have to fill out. I don't care how much money you have. Certain buildings, they're not going to have certain type personality in there. If you pull up or you walk up with a camera crew or any of that, you're not getting in some of these old money buildings, period. So that's just what it is. So the scene where Riley is saying she lived on top of Cat's Deli, Georgia's always trying to throw different New York things into it. Have you heard of when Harry met Sally and Riley made a joke? Well, she wasn't even making a joke. Riley was dead serious. She said, I never heard of that show. So she was talking about the famous movie. And then Georgia asked another friend, I don't know the little friend's name, do you know about it? And the friend's like, no. And Georgia said, useless. So Georgia's going to talk down to the rest of them, and I don't like that. This came up, Cece. Is Riley looking to move from her apartment? Candy set her up nice. Candy, as we know, Candy likes to invest in things. Todd even had his old New Jersey condo that he had. They were fixing up to rent or whatever they were going to do with it. Or I don't know if he let Kayla. He's tougher on Kayla as far as money. But Riley shares with us that Candy has given her 1 year to be financially independent. Riley can do it. I don't know if I mentioned Riley graduated from NYU. So I don't know what a lot of the other kids on this show are doing, but Riley is already a college graduate. Candy's trying to steer her toward law school, but Riley's only 22 years old, and she just turned 22. When she was on the show, and they were shooting, she was 21. So we'll see what Riley's going to do. She's so young. She can do anything, and she can recover from almost any mistake or anything that happened. I think she's going to hold her own with these kids. They were sitting there together, y'all. Ava came in. She crossed her legs. She's like, I was in a campaign for my favorite shoe, Manolo Blahnik. So she showed us red bottoms. Georgia touched the bottom of her shoe. Gia said, in New York, she said, anywhere. You don't touch the bottom of someone's shoe. People are peeing all over the street, this, that, and the other. So Georgia has a confessional, and production surrounds her with germs. She has a confessional. I don't see a problem with if you touch something, and I don't really wash my hands. This girl is nasty, y'all. Don't do a potluck with Georgia. Don't ever eat from her house. I told y'all I didn't like her. They went in the bathroom. All the girls take a bathroom break, and production lets us hear Riley saying, you're not going to wash your hands? And then confessional Georgia have the nerve to tell us, I don't really believe in washing my hands. I grew up in New York. I was a kid eating candy off the street. And she's a very strong-faced, unfortunate, young-looking young woman. I don't know. She looks like George Washington or somebody. I don't. And I'm only talking about her because I don't like the way that she speaks to and talks to other people. Yeah, Candy ain't stopping nothing. CC, I agree with that. That sounds like something that came out of Todd's head, and he can do that with Kayla. And Candy be passing Kayla money too, because Kayla is a college graduate as well. So 1 year, that's just something probably to light a fire under Riley. But I don't think they need to do that. She's already graduated from college. Let the girl have a break, and she wants to be a DJ. So I don't know. We'll see what Riley's going to do. I'm excited for her and her future and this show. So they're sitting there. We know Georgia now is one of these people that don't wash her legs or her hands. And yeah, Mama Bees, if you watch it, you'll see what I'm talking about. She gonna reach over and touch Riley. Riley was like, okay, do what you want to do, but don't touch me. But Riley has the Mama Joyce poker face. Is she joking or not? Riley's not joking. Don't touch her. And a lot of us are like, don't touch me. Especially you touch the bottom of this girl's shoe. So Gia and Brooks are having a separate side conversation within the group. And he's telling her, Charlie went out with Chloe and he made a text comment that I didn't like. He was saying, meet us later unless she's already at my apartment. And I don't know how to take it. I know I didn't like it. Gia's like, well, you got to tell him. So Charlie's like, why are you having a side conversation and my name's coming up? Bring it out. So we know that Brooks has already told us he doesn't like confrontation. And he says, well, I'm just saying, I don't like the text that you sent. Ava is a provocateur. She's sitting next to Charlie going, show it, whip it out. But she wants to see the text. So now they're going to show this text in front of the group. This is the part where I don't know if it's manufactured drama. It could be real because I didn't like Charlie saying that either. You bragging about you don't have women since Lindsay Lohan and you are 20-something, maybe 25 or something, but older than Chloe. And Salt Lake City, as compared to someone growing up in New York, there's just a maturity level that's a little bit different, okay? And Brooks has already told the boy he don't like that. So Charlie actually tells Gio, and why are you speaking for him? You're the mouthpiece. So confessional Gia says, I'm not the mouthpiece. I'm just a good friend. And she's right. I'd agree with Gio on that. So Charlie didn't kind of lie. Brooks pulls out the text, and it's exactly what he said it was. We'll meet later unless she's already at my apartment. And then he says, oh, well, I'm sorry. I don't mean to say it like that. I didn't mean it if it came across that way. And, I apologize. And Ava's still instigating. Apologize for what? He's like, I apologize if he's offended or whatever. Kind of a non-apology apology. So he thinks, to me, he feel like he can punk Brooks. I think different ones in the group are going to feel a different way toward Brooks as far as I think, these are my thoughts. Bravo has certain kids that are kind of the apple of their eye or the ones that they're placing in certain positions. Brooks is one of them. I think he's the type kid that Andy Cohen, a Bravo, Peacock, they like that type kid. And I think they gave him a lot of leeway as far as assembling everyone and putting the chess pieces on the board. I think Candy Burris is liked by Bravo. Even though I think when they were holding out her contract, they were being shady. I think they knew they wanted Portia. They knew they wanted Phaedra back. They knew Candy didn't want to work with either one of them. And so I think they stalled until Candy said, I got a lot going on, so later for it. But they left the door open, and Candy has a deal where she can produce different shows through them and do whatever. And we know she's doing her Broadway thing, her Emmy-winning play with Denzel. So Candy's not upset about not being on Real Housewives, but I think they like Riley and they don't want to insult Candy or Riley. I think Teresa has made so much money for them, even though Jersey, I think it's paused right now. We don't know when they're coming back. Teresa has given them so much story over the years that I don't see them offending Teresa. I think they always wanted Gia to be able to do something. And then also with Kim, Andy and Bravo and Peacock love Tardy for the Party. They love themselves some Kim Zolciak. I'm not a Kim Zolciak fan. Kim has her people that do like her. This is funny. This came up. Brooks was asking Riley, well, so you're from Georgia and Ariana too. Do you know her? You're both Real Housewives kids. Do you know her? She said, well, I haven't seen her since I was like 10. We used to be friends, but once your parents fall out, you can't have your friend bring you somewhere. So yeah, they were that young. Sharon Gobble Charlie didn't mean to say that. And I do like Brooks. Cece said, don't touch her if you wash your hands. Okay, Cece. I agree with that. But yeah, this is disgusting. She touched the shoe and touched her hands. But they didn't allude to it. They flat out said, Candy said that, of course, as we know, because we watch Real Housewives of Atlanta over here, Candy and Kim fell out. And I'm going to blame Candy. She did the Tardy for the Party thing kind of to spite Nene because Kim was coming on as a country singer or whatever. And she met with Dallas Austin. She met with this other lady that was a prominent vocal coach, but Kim wasn't doing nothing. kicking up her leg in studio session, singing badly. When Candy came on, Nene came up with, "Oh, Toddy for the Party. I like this, Kim." It was on one of those little demo tapes that they had. And Candy took the song and made it into like a camp club hit, Tardy for the Party. Kim was able to make between $80,000 and $90,000. They showed the clip on the reunion, and Andy's like, "Well, how much did you make?" Kim's like, "I don't even know. I didn't check it out. I don't know, lying." And Candy says she made between 80 and 90,000, and I got like 3 or 4. And Candy was crying. She's doing her cry talking. And we know it wasn't about the money. That's not it. Candy is a producer, and she's a writer, and she's all of this. For me, and I knew it was the principle for Candy. She thought she and Kim were friends because they used to travel together and all this stuff. Kim saw Candy as someone she could use because Nene is the one, let's get real. Nene was the Brooks of Real Housewives of Atlanta. Nene assembled that show and brought everyone on. So the way some of them treated Nene over the years, Nene will always have a place in my heart because I know what she was able to do for that show. Even though the ice is kind of thawing on her, I just feel it's wrong the way a lot of them treated her over the years, including Kim. So that's what happened. They have fallen out, and Ariana and Riley, they started out being little friends, but then Riley know not to even ask Candy to bring her over Kim's once they're not talking anymore because Kim stabbed Candy in the back, in my opinion. So that's what happened with that. And CC, Candy did all of that work. Let me make sure. Okay, I thought I had it up there. Candy did all that work for the Clear Girl, stole the money from her, sucker move. It was. And then Andy was like, would you give her like a share of it or whatever? My lawyer says I don't have to. So Kim is trifling. But y'all, I forgot to mention this. When Ariana and Hudson were doing a joint confessional, Hudson is the kid of Zaxby's. I know the parents are like kind of hanging back because some of those kids, if you push too hard, he could end up married to the girl. But I know they're not loving that, y'all. Ariana's sweet enough, but Hudson, wrap it up. Do not get this girl pregnant. Okay. I'm just going to say that to Hudson. Y'all. Anyway, Ariana's saying, all my money's gone. She said, I don't know how much it was. Now, remember we said we saw Ariana on the show at age 6. There's a law against that. There's the child labor law. Hollywood in particular, or anywhere in the country, their money's supposed to be set aside. Ariana let us know, she said, my mom and dad took all my money. They have spent every dime that this girl has had. So she's in her early 20s. She's been on TV the better part of, now I was just thinking of Real Housewives of Atlanta, but she did, Andy Cohen gave her that show, Tardy for the Party, and that was on for years. Elisa Triplett, Nene told Candy that Kim was a snake, but Candy couldn't hear it because Candy had fallen out with Nene, and you can't tell Candy anything. So, Candy was naive as far as that went, because I never saw that friendship. Kim thought she'd be filthy rich when she married Croy. Boy, was she fooled. Yeah, like I said, he had a half a season as a Falcon. He did that Dancing with the Stars Atlanta thing, and she met him. She saw that big booty Croy, and she went crazy, thought she had her NFL person. He wasn't even on that team by the end of that season, and he's been serving as her driver for years. But Ariana told us, and production showed it in confessional and in conversation with Hudson. And Hudson's one of those kids that come from money, but the parents probably had to really work to get that money and establish that business and franchise it. And I think they don't play about their money or about their son. And he was actually saying, I think you should say no sometime. Y'all, Kim calls and gets money from Ariana. She calls and gets money from Ariana, y'all. So Ariana might have income coming in. She said online income, so she might be a little influencer or something like that. So now I have compassion for her. That mugshot she had, this girl's drinking. How is Kim, who's been on TV over a decade, close to 2 decades, taking money from her daughter and has already spent Ariana and Brielle's money? Y'all, this is disgusting. This is really terrible. Kim is more disgusting than I thought. We knew she was a snake, but I haven't seen anything like this. So Ariana said her New York dream is to be a fashion designer. Ariana, did you take any design classes? Do you sew at all? Do you do any of that? See, this is the kind of thing that gets under my skin. I have a sewing machine. I don't really sew, but I've taken a class. One of my nieces liked clothes. She took a class with me too. But I wouldn't go to New York saying, I'm trying to be a fashion designer just because they've put me on TV and now I think that I can jump into fashion designing like Sheree did with Michael Knight that year. Just ridiculous. That makes sense, Mama Bees. I think I heard something about that during the divorce court documents that's still going on. Are they really getting divorced? Mama Bees, I have a banner running. So this is allegedly, and in my opinion, but Kim may have a gambling habit. Okay, see, that would make sense. But Hudson is advising Ariana to not give Kim any more money. So, y'all, that was the first episode. Let me see. I'm trying to make sure I went through everything. We got introduced to everyone. You see the picture over there of them. I said Brooks is the glue. I'm on the fence with Ava. TNT mom, she does need help, and she's been needed help. All that drinking. They were talking about Kim drinking a $200 bottle of wine. I guess Kim's online doing stuff, and Ariana says, I don't know how much it costs, but I don't know where she's getting the money from. And she's asking me for money. Okay, I have in my notes, Lil' Kim file a lawsuit. There are labor laws, child labor laws about this. Your money should have been in a trust. So in addition to Real Housewives of Atlanta, there also was the Tardy for the Party where Kim was showcasing her kids, showcasing their lifestyle, meanwhile spending her, and I would assume Brielle's money too. And then what about the 3 sons? We know Croyd's family never liked Kim. They saw her as Kim's trash. I remember Nene always saying that. You trash, you're going to been trash, you're going to always be trash. Back to the close your eyes with To Married Men. I have to agree, Sharon Gabo. Ava's not to be trusted, in my opinion. Yeah, she definitely identifies with one side, and then she also have kind of snake blood in her as well. So I would watch Ava. I wouldn't depend on Ava to kind of have my back. And I think, now one thing I do like about Riley, I can just see her personality. She kind of laid back, but she's also watching everybody, and she doesn't seem to be like a punk or you can run over her. So I do like that. And we know how Mama Joyce is. I think there's things about Riley, her looks, and then sometimes her demeanor, and then the way she'll make her face or whatever. She reminds me of Mama Joyce. So they're doing a lot of joint interviews with each other. Brooks has been in interviews with, I think, almost all of the cast. They showed the apartment hunting. Ariana has told her about the financial things that she's going through. My heart goes out to her. I can't imagine being 21 or 22, having an able-bodied mom, even though she used to always cry about, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I remember Nene said, where's your scooter? You don't have everything that happened to you. Where's your scooter? So Kim's over there playing sick, yet you can gamble and drink and buy designer clothes to porn. Come on now, that's crazy. My question is, why was Nene good friends with trash? Level up in all areas of your life. That's true, CC. I think that Nene might be at the time more loyal to people than they were to her. Because she said, oh, Kim and I, we've been knowing each other. I think at the time when the show came out, she said about 3 years or so. And also her and Sheree. Remember how Sheree treated her? Made fun of her teeth, get your teeth fixed and all this kind of stuff. Believe Tyrone, the jailbird's word over Nene, that Nene was trying to not to take a job that Sheree kind of needed, some kind of club hosting thing. So Nene does appear to have friends that are not real friends and kind of turn their back on her later. I was surprised when her and Candy didn't get along. Candy said she was surprised at that too, but we'll see what happens. Let's see. They tried to get Croy not to marry Kim. He got what he asked for. TNTG mom did say. Okay, because did Kim have a wedding special? Yeah, there's some money there. Ariana, she needs to file a lawsuit. She needs to file a lawsuit. I couldn't imagine my mother even, or father, rest in peace to both of them. These parents that do that to their children and use them as the come up. So Ariana is now worrying about money, worrying about renting an apartment. And she said, and I want to put my share in it. Now, she knows she expected Hudson to come with the bulk of the money. So I will watch next episode. I'm going to go week by week. I'll watch next episode. This one's worth watching or flipping through or coming at the end like Sharon did. But I liked it. I thought it was cute. I knew some of them would get on my nerves, and they did. Georgia, wash your hands. That's nasty. Came out the bathroom and didn't want to wash. And Charlie had the nerve to have a confessional talking about, I didn't see nothing wrong with what Georgia did. He said, my penis is clean. I don't always wash my hands after I use the restroom. I'm with Cece now. I almost don't want nobody to touch me because this is nasty, y'all. Oh, so Cece's confirming Kim and Croy did have a wedding special. That's when she fell out with her own parents. Yeah, Kim came from a weird upbringing. I remember one time Kim invited them over and they were very trashy. And Kim had a child that she was breastfeeding. And the father was commenting on, oh, yeah, he going to be like breastfeeding on one side and doing this on the other side. That's what Kim's father said, y'all. So I'm not shocked at her being able to cut them people off. It's too trashy and weird. Sharon liked it also. Okay, so every week I'm going to aim to review it the day after. So it comes on Tuesday nights. So sometime, what is today? Is today Wednesday? Yeah, today's Wednesday. Dropping extra sassy tea talk. We're gonna get into it tonight, y'all, because Portia did some things that rubbed me the wrong way. So we got tea talk with your girl, dropping extra sassy tea talk. Tea talk with your girl, drop the tea, and sassy TV from the 803. And me, Sandra P's Gen Extra. So just come back between probably 7:30, 7:45 on any of the 4 channels, or y'all have been actually circulating to each channel and then just making comments, leaving a like, and just making an appearance everywhere. So we do love that. So please like. If you haven't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. And I'll see you in the YouTube streets. Thank you so much. Bye.